I was 12 years old, and that night changed everything. But to understand that, you really have to understand what my life was like back then. Before I go any further, this part of my story covers some pretty heavy experiences, so please take care of yourself as you listen. When I started junior high, I was nervous, but I was also so excited because it was a brand new school. It was outside of my neighborhood, and I'd get to meet kids from other schools for the first time. And I remember that first week. There was actually already a buzz about me, and this time, a good one. They were calling me the new hot girl, and other girls were coming up and introducing themselves to me, and I'm not gonna lie, it made me feel really special. But honestly, I've never been good at accepting compliments, so I'm not too sure how I came off. But school itself was something I actually really enjoyed. You know, we had different teachers for each period, and I thought that it was really cool, and interesting. I made the cheer team, and I loved dancing and performing at the football games. Oh, and at this time, I was still a really good student, I loved learning. And maybe I was even a little bit too confident at times. I was really into fashion, and I actually was named the best dressed in our 8th grade yearbook. I was really happy about that. My home life was a different story. At the time, it was me and my 2 older sisters. And my oldest sister was away at college. And my brother was in and out of juvenile hall. And when he was home, things were unpredictable. I actually remember having to call the police during a couple of arguments between him and my mom, because his anger felt really scary. There was even this one time where, he hid in the closet when the police came looking for him. We didn't even know he was up there. But eventually, he found Taekwondo, and he actually became really skilled. But even this came with fear, because I remember he would do kicks and chops that came like within an inch of our face. And he'd never hit or kick us, but we got the message. Yeah. My sisters were heavily into drugs and alcohol at this time, and I was around it early. I actually remember one day coming home from school, and they thought it would be funny to see what I looked like, or what I was like. Hi. And they held my hands against the wall and then blew smoke into my mouth. And I don't really remember anything other than things becoming like dizzy, and then I fell asleep. Drinking also happened a lot around me, and they would let me drink with them. And by the time I was a freshman, I could actually put away a 12-pack by myself. And mind you, I was 100 pounds. Crazy. There were parties at the house, and they involved drinking and drugs and things I really shouldn't have been around. But at the time, it just felt normal. Then in 8th grade, one of my friends moved in with us, and that's when things really started to change. We began skipping school and stealing alcohol, and we'd even walk to this liquor store that was like a mile away and steal bottles of vodka. We even got caught once, and we tried to lie about it, but eventually we had to tell the truth. My mom, my poor mom, she really tried. She did everything that she could, but she just had so much on her plate, you know. Then came that night. I was 12 years old, but I was at a college party drinking like I was a grown-up, and I saw someone familiar, someone that I trusted, and I remember drinking heavily and then everything becoming blurry. And I passed out in his car when he said he was going to give me a ride home. And I remember waking up and he was on top of me. And I didn't know what to do, so I just pretended I was asleep. And when it was over, I opened the car door and I threw up. I was confused, I felt sick, and I was scared. The next morning, I had a terrible hangover and my body felt sore. But I didn't tell anyone, not right away. I kept it to myself for almost a year. When I finally told my sister, it didn't go the way I had hoped or expected. The story got twisted, and instead of support, I felt blame. My sister didn't speak to me for a while, and honestly, I felt completely alone. I started to believe that it was my fault and that I should have done more to stop it. I felt like I had allowed it to happen. And that belief stayed with me for a long time. It shaped how I saw myself and how I moved through the world, navigated the world. But what I understand now is different. That moment didn't define me. And the shame I carried was never mine to begin with. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Kristen, and this is Life's Limitless Potential, where we turn our experiences into growth and self-mastery. And if you've ever carried something that you couldn't talk about, you're not alone. If you're ready to turn your pain into power, you're in the right place. Subscribe, and let's take this journey together. I'll see you in the next one, Self-Mastery Mates.